Today's beer comes from the Sunshine State. Yep, it's Florida. This is Uncalculating Chaos. It's a New England IPA with Nectar and Muteca. But what's it going to be like? Keep watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. We're here today in an uncharacteristically warm day in the UK. So I thought I'd go and drink a beer from another very warm place, and that's Florida in USA. Yep, we've got a USA beer, fresh from Pross Bottle Shop. This is called Calculating Chaos. It's a 6 point, I think it's a 6.3. The artwork's, I mean, you can see that. You can hardly read the writing on it. I think it's 6.3%. We've got Nectar and Muteca. The brewery is Uncommon Path Brewing. Never heard them before, but brand new into Pross. I thought, buy it. The one concern I have, which I only noticed just a second ago, is it actually was canned on the 23rd of February. We're now in May, so it's not the freshest, unless it's going to come from America, but let's crack it open, put it in glass, see what it's all about. I'm going to use my brand new glass that I got from the Dead Crafty Beer Company in Liverpool a couple of weeks back. So yeah, it's very busy in terms of its design on here, but I've got a little space here, so we can see what it looks like in there. But let's crack this open. Let's hope it's not going to explode terribly. These American beers do have a habit of doing that. That's not too bad. See what we've got in the glass. I mean, I'm a big fan of Nectaron. I'm Muteca as well, so some great hops really for this beer. Beer in a glass. Well, you can see that I've given it a bit of a knobhead pour. We've got about 3 fingers of, I would say, quite loose, just off white head, but the colour, yeah, it's that sort of custardy colour that we like in our New England IPAs. Looks pretty good. Let's see what the aroma's like. Well, even through all that froth, there's quite a pungent aroma. Lots of peach, mango, just juicy tropical sort of notes, really. And then there's that, I think it's with Nectaron. Well, you've got Muteca in there as well, haven't you? Yeah, I don't think the Muteca's really sort of really jumping out, but I find Nectaron is almost like a blend of your best sort of New Zealand hops, and with a little bit more tropicalness in it. It's got all the sort of characteristics of all the big sort of New Zealand hops. And there's definitely a bigger tropical sort of aroma than your sort of grape and your gooseberry and that sort of stuff. Right, let's drink it. I have to hold this glass. Cheers, everyone. Flavour-wise, similar to the aroma, tropical, juicy, really lots of that sort of peach and mango and that sort of stuff. But there's a lightness there of citrus and lemons and limes and grapefruits coming in as well. The weird thing is, and I have a feeling it's because it's American and it's come from America, the carbonation is really quite intense for a New England IPA. It's not soft. It's a little bit fizzy. As soon as you put it to your mouth and drink it, you think, oh, it's quite fizzy, that bit. Actually, it's dying down a bit now. So it's going again. Maybe, I do think that's the problem with American beers, is that, I mean, and this one's been sitting around for a couple of good 2 or 3 months, is that they get shaken up a bit. And I think that does affect the carbonation. Okay, I'll pour the rest out. It's not so frothy as it was now, as it was before. But there's still a fair bit more carbonation than you'd expect. It does push those flavours around. The lime is coming out. The Muteca is sort of coming out a bit more in the flavour now. So you've got that lime, you've got grapefruit, you've got lemons, you've got... In fact, I'd almost go as far as say that it tastes different in that pour than it did in the first pour. Lots more citrus, lemons, limes, grapefruits, definitely sort of much bigger now. I think it's that carbonation. It sort of zips the flavours around and sort of makes them a bit different. For me, there's a lot of grapefruit flavours in this. That's a real big hit of grapefruit. There's a little bit of, say, water, honeydew melon as well coming through. The tropical's now more in the background. It's all about zest of lemons and limes. It's a very sort of thirst quenching sort of beer. I think maybe their carbonation is making it a little bit more thirst quenching, because it's definitely more fizzy than I would like. But that gets that lime flavour zipping around as well. So lime, grapefruit. Muteca is doing a lot of the heavy lifting on this beer. As I said, Nectaron does, you could have Nectaron on its own and you could say, oh yes, there's it might be Muteca in this because it has some of those characteristics. I'm not getting the sort of the bigger Nelson sort of flavours, but I think it's weird to get those flavours when a beer is that carbonated. Yeah, lots of lemon, lots of lime, lots of grapefruit. They're the flavours, which I like those flavours, but it's a little bit of carbonation. I think if I'd opened it a month or so after it'd been canned and it close to it, and I was sitting in Florida at the time, then I think the profile of the mouthfeel would have been quite different, because you can tell that the body's there, but it's this carbonation that just seems a little alien to it. Okay, I've tasted enough. Let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for Calculating Chaos. This is a New England IPA with Muteca and Nectaron from the Uncommon Path Brewing, based in Fort Lauderdale in Florida. It's quite a funky sort of can, and so I like the hops, I like the idea of American, and sometimes the American beers can get pretty expensive, but this wasn't too bad. I think it was £6. Actually, does it have the price? Some of them they usually have the price on. I think it was about £6.50, and it is slightly bigger than a 440. It's a US pint, which is a 16 ounce, which I think is about 483 or something like that. It's not a 500. 483 or maybe even a bit less than that. It's definitely more than 440 and less than 500. Maybe it's 473, something like that. So not too bad. And I'd say it was about £6.50, something around those sort of marks, where you could be paying that for a good IPA from like Track and Beacon, places like that. So not bad, but as I say, I don't think it's travelled as well. So let's go for the scores, starting with aroma, appearance, flavour, value for money, and finally my overall experience. Tighten the scores up. Total score, yeah, it's a recommended beer. It's just in the higher end of the 70s, but not quite there really. I mean, I think it's the carbonation is just ruining it a little bit, which is a shame. It's certainly a big intense of flavour, but when you get that flavour, then you get all this zippy carbonation. It's like a bit weird. And in between me doing this bit and the last bit, I gave out this humongous burp, which is like something that I was thinking, well, I don't really burp much with a lot of New England IPAs or those sort of beers, because it just isn't the gas really. So a little bit disappointed with that, but certainly big on those flavours. And if you like Nectaron and Muteca, then it's pretty good really. And the can's funky and it's from America, but I think you can still get beers as good, if not better, in the UK, from your likes of Azvex, Beak, Track, obviously Polly's, Virgin, people like that. So not bad at all, but I think it's just a beer that's just a little bit older than it needs to be, and it's obviously had a bit of a colourful travelling life, I would say. So yeah, let me know what you think. Well, let me know what you think if you've had any American beers recently. Do you have that problem? Are they a little bit lively when you open them up? Do you think the carbonation's a bit strange? Can they actually get dulled in the flavour? Can they get oxidised more likely? Let me know what you think of any recent experience with US beers. Hope you liked the video. Obviously, you don't do many US beers, so I'd like to change it up a little bit. Please subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and you know what you need to do now. 2 things: drink good craft beer and keep on rocking.